Have you ever wondered what secrets were hidden behind the glittering smiles of Hollywood's most famous women? Some of those whispers involved the most powerful men in America, presidents, future presidents, men whose public images depended on respectability. Tonight, we explore 13 Golden Age actresses whose names became linked to secret presidential romances, forbidden encounters, and scandals that Hollywood and Washington both preferred to keep buried. Number 13. Helen Gahagan Douglas. Long before political scandals became front-page entertainment, Helen Gahagan Douglas stood at the center of rumors that never completely disappeared. Unlike many women on this list, Douglas was not merely a glamorous actress. She was also a serious political figure who eventually served in Congress. That unusual combination made her story especially fascinating. By the time Lyndon B. Johnson rose through the ranks of American politics, Douglas had already established herself as a respected public figure. Both moved within influential political circles. Both understood how power operated behind closed doors. That connection eventually fueled decades of speculation. Stories linking Douglas and Johnson surfaced repeatedly throughout Washington gossip networks. Some claimed the future president admired her intensely. Others suggested their relationship crossed the line from professional respect into something more personal. Yet unlike many famous Hollywood scandals, there was never a dramatic confession or undeniable piece of evidence. What kept the rumor alive was the environment in which it developed. Washington during the mid-20th century was filled with private dinners, exclusive gatherings, and political alliances hidden from public view. Powerful men often conducted secret relationships while carefully protecting their public reputations. Historians remain divided. Some dismiss the claims as political gossip. Others believe there may have been more beneath the surface than official records reveal. What cannot be denied is that Douglas possessed the intelligence, beauty, and influence that attracted powerful men wherever she went. Whether fact or fiction, the alleged connection between Helen Gahagan Douglas and Lyndon Johnson remains one of the most intriguing political whispers of Hollywood's golden age. Number 12. Zsa Zsa Gabor. If Hollywood ever produced a queen of controversy, it was Zsa Zsa Gabor. She transformed glamour into an art form and treated headlines as a personal playground. Wealthy businessmen adored her. Celebrities chased her attention. Politicians were hardly immune to her charm. Among the countless stories surrounding Gabor was a rumor involving Richard Nixon. On the surface, it seemed like an unlikely pairing. Nixon projected discipline and caution. Gabor represented excess, elegance, and unpredictability. Yet that contrast is exactly why the story captured public imagination. Throughout her life, Gabor developed friendships with influential figures across entertainment and politics. She attended exclusive events where power and celebrity mixed freely. She also enjoyed teasing reporters with suggestive comments that blurred the line between truth and performance. Over time, whispers emerged, suggesting that Nixon had become fascinated by the Hungarian-born star. The details changed depending on who told the story. Some described flirtation. Others hinted at a brief romance hidden from public view. None of the accounts ever produced conclusive proof. What made the rumor endure was Gabor herself. She understood publicity better than almost anyone in Hollywood. A mysterious story involving a future president only enhanced her image as a woman capable of captivating any man she encountered. True or not, the image of Zsa Zsa Gabor and Richard Nixon sharing secret moments behind closed doors remains one of the strangest and most unforgettable rumors from the golden age of Hollywood. Number 11. Angie Dickinson. Few actresses embodied effortless sophistication quite like Angie Dickinson. During the late 1950s and early 1960s, she became one of Hollywood's most admired stars. Her beauty was undeniable. Her confidence made her unforgettable. Men across America dreamed about meeting her. According to persistent rumors, one of those men may have been President John F. Kennedy. Unlike many stories surrounding Kennedy's private life, this rumor survived because Dickinson moved comfortably within the same social circles that surrounded the future president. Hollywood stars regularly crossed paths with political elites. Exclusive parties became places where power and celebrity blended into a single world, hidden from ordinary Americans. Accounts from Kennedy biographers have repeatedly placed Dickinson among the women linked to the president. While no definitive proof has ever emerged, the allegation has endured for decades. Part of that endurance comes from Kennedy's well-documented attraction to glamorous actresses. Another factor is Dickinson's status as one of the era's most captivating women. What makes the story particularly interesting is Dickinson's own approach to the rumors. She rarely encouraged them, yet never became known for launching public campaigns to destroy them. That silence allowed speculation to grow. Every unanswered question created another layer of mystery. Whether their relationship ever became romantic remains uncertain. Yet the rumor continues to fascinate because it combines two icons whose lives were already surrounded by glamour, influence, and secrecy. Number 10. Gene Tierney. Some Hollywood rumors fade quickly. Others become stronger because one of the people involved speaks about them directly. That is one reason Gene Tierney's connection to John F. Kennedy stands apart from many entries on this list. Tierney was already a major star when Kennedy was still building his future. Her striking beauty made her one of the most admired actresses of the 1940s. Films such as The Razor's Edge and Laura transformed her into a Hollywood legend. Behind the scenes, however, her life often contained far more complexity than audiences realized. Years later, Tierney discussed a romantic relationship with Kennedy in her memoir. According to her account, the two became involved before Kennedy entered the White House and before his political image became a national obsession. Unlike many presidential rumors based entirely on gossip, this story originated from one of the alleged participants herself. That does not mean every historian agrees on every detail. Memories can be imperfect, and timelines can be debated. Yet Tierney's willingness to speak openly gave the story a credibility many Hollywood rumors never achieve. The alleged relationship also offers a glimpse into a different Kennedy. Before becoming president, he was a wealthy young man moving through elite social circles where actresses, politicians, and influential families frequently interacted. For audiences today, the story remains compelling because it feels less like a tabloid invention and more like a hidden chapter from two extraordinary lives. Number 9. Anita Ekberg. Before she became an international sensation, Anita Ekberg was already turning heads wherever she appeared. Her breathtaking beauty seemed almost larger than life. Directors wanted her in their films. Photographers could not get enough of her. Audiences viewed her as one of the most glamorous women of her generation. That reputation eventually placed her name alongside one of America's most famous presidents. Rumors connecting Ekberg to John F. Kennedy have circulated for decades. Unlike some stories supported by memoirs or first-hand accounts, this one survives largely through whispers from Hollywood and political circles. Yet those whispers never completely disappeared. Part of the fascination comes from timing. During the late 1950s and early 1960s, both Ekberg and Kennedy represented a certain kind of modern celebrity. She dominated headlines through her film career and public image. He captured attention as a rising political star whose charm seemed capable of winning over almost anyone he met. People who attended elite gatherings often described a world where movie stars and powerful politicians mingled freely. Private parties created opportunities for friendships and flirtations that rarely reached the public eye. That environment helped fuel speculation about countless relationships, including the alleged connection between Ekberg and Kennedy. No photograph has ever settled the debate. No definitive document has emerged, yet the rumor remains remarkably persistent. Perhaps that is because the pairing feels believable to many observers. Kennedy was known for his attraction to glamorous women. Ekberg was among the most glamorous women alive. Whether the relationship existed or not, the story continues to represent the hidden intersection of Hollywood fantasy and presidential power. Number 8. Marlene Dietrich. Some rumors sound improbable. Others carry a sense of authenticity that refuses to fade. Marlene Dietrich's alleged relationship with John F. Kennedy belongs firmly in the second category. By the time Kennedy entered the national spotlight,
Dietrich was already a living legend. She had conquered Hollywood through talent, intelligence, and an unforgettable screen presence. Unlike younger stars who relied solely on beauty, she possessed a sophistication that fascinated powerful people across the world. What separates this story from many others is that Dietrich herself later hinted at a romantic connection. Her comments were never presented as a dramatic public confession. Instead, they emerged gradually through interviews and recollections that suggested a deeper relationship than casual friendship. Their alleged relationship also carries an emotional dimension missing from many presidential rumors. Rather than focusing only on attraction, some accounts describe genuine admiration between two people who understood fame at extraordinary levels. Both lived under constant public scrutiny. Both understood how carefully crafted images could conceal private realities. Decades later, the image remains captivating. A legendary actress and a future president sharing moments away from cameras feels like a scene from one of Dietrich's films. That is precisely why the story continues to endure. Number 7. Kim Novak. Not every Hollywood icon embraced fame. Kim Novak often seemed uncomfortable with the machine that transformed stars into myths. While studios carefully crafted glamorous images for public consumption, Novak spent much of her career resisting expectations. That independent spirit made her one of the most fascinating actresses of the Golden Age. It also helped fuel rumors linking her to John F. Kennedy. By the late 1950s, Novak had become one of Hollywood's biggest attractions. Her performances captivated audiences. Her beauty filled magazine covers across America. At the same time, Kennedy was emerging as a charismatic political figure whose popularity seemed to grow with every appearance.
The worlds of politics and entertainment frequently overlapped. Wealthy donors hosted lavish gatherings. Socialites organized exclusive parties. Movie stars and politicians found themselves sharing the same rooms, far from public scrutiny. Within that environment, stories began to circulate about a possible connection between Novak and Kennedy. Unlike some women linked to Kennedy, there is little direct evidence supporting the claim. No memoir confirmed the relationship. No dramatic revelation settled the debate. Yet the rumor persisted because it fit a broader pattern that historians have long discussed. Kennedy enjoyed the company of glamorous women, and Novak was among the most glamorous women of her era. What makes the story intriguing is Novak's image. She projected elegance without appearing overly accessible. That mystery created endless curiosity. Every unanswered question made the rumor stronger. Whether the alleged affair ever happened remains unknown. Still, the possibility continues to attract attention because it combines two figures whose influence extended far beyond their respective professions. Their rumored connection remains one of the enduring mysteries of Hollywood's golden age. Number 6. Arlene Dahl. Long before celebrity culture became a 24-hour industry, Arlene Dahl understood how to command attention. Her fiery red hair and striking presence helped distinguish her from every other actress competing for stardom. Audiences admired her beauty. Hollywood executives recognized her appeal. Powerful men certainly noticed her as well. Among the many rumors surrounding John F. Kennedy's private life was a story connecting him to Dahl. Unlike some names that appeared briefly in gossip columns, her name continued resurfacing in books and discussions about Kennedy's relationships. That persistence has kept the speculation alive for decades. Dahl moved comfortably through elite social circles where wealth, influence, and celebrity frequently intersected. During the era's most glamorous years, those circles often included politicians whose public images depended upon maintaining an appearance of respectability. Private encounters, therefore, remained private whenever possible. Biographers examining Kennedy's personal life have occasionally included Dahl among the women believed to have attracted his attention. The evidence remains largely circumstantial. Yet many stories surrounding Kennedy follow a similar pattern. Witnesses offered hints. Friends recalled conversations. Rumors spread through insiders who rarely spoke on the record. No definitive proof has ever emerged. The truth may remain hidden forever. Yet the alleged connection between Arlene Dahl and John F. Kennedy continues to survive because it reflects a world where glamour and political power often met behind closed doors. Number 5. Judy Garland. Most people remember Judy Garland as the beloved star whose voice and talent captured the hearts of millions. They remember the young woman who became a symbol of Hollywood magic. What many people do not realize is that Garland's life away from the cameras was often filled with turmoil, heartbreak, and rumors that followed her everywhere. One of those rumors eventually linked her to John F. Kennedy. Unlike several stories on this countdown, the alleged connection between Garland and Kennedy emerged years after both figures had become cultural legends. Accounts varied dramatically. Some described a brief romantic encounter. Others suggested a friendship that gradually became something more personal. The problem was that none of the stories could be conclusively verified. Yet the rumor refused to disappear. Part of that persistence comes from the fact that Garland and Kennedy moved through overlapping social circles during an era when celebrities and politicians frequently interacted away from public view. Exclusive gatherings often placed powerful men and famous actresses in the same rooms. Garland's complicated personal life also contributed to public curiosity. Her struggles were widely documented. Her relationships attracted enormous attention. As a result, any suggestion of a presidential romance immediately became headline material. What makes this story particularly fascinating is the contrast between the two figures. Kennedy projected confidence and control. Garland often appeared vulnerable and emotionally exposed. Together, they seem like an unlikely pair. Yet history is filled with unlikely relationships. Whether the rumor reflects reality or merely another chapter in Hollywood mythology remains uncertain. Even so, the alleged connection continues to fascinate because it combines two of the 20th century's most recognizable names in a story surrounded by secrecy. Number 4. Jane Mansfield. If Marilyn Monroe represented elegance and mystery, Jane Mansfield represented pure sensationalism. She understood publicity better than almost anyone in Hollywood. Every appearance generated headlines. Every photograph attracted attention. She built a career around being impossible to ignore. That larger-than-life image eventually placed her name among the many women rumored to have shared a secret relationship with John F. Kennedy. Mansfield thrived during a period when Hollywood glamour reached extraordinary heights. Her fame extended beyond movie theaters into newspapers and television programs across America. She knew how to dominate conversations and often became the center of attention wherever she appeared. Rumors linking her to Kennedy developed naturally within that environment. The future president already carried a reputation for enjoying the company of beautiful women. Mansfield ranked among the most famous and recognizable actresses of her generation. To many observers, the possibility seemed entirely believable. The challenge for historians is that hard evidence remains scarce. Most accounts rely upon secondhand stories and recollections shared years later. Some researchers dismiss the claims altogether. Others argue that the circumstances make the rumor difficult to ignore.
What keeps the story alive is the sheer star power involved. Kennedy and Mansfield represented two different forms of celebrity. One dominated politics, the other dominated popular culture. Together, they created a rumor that seemed designed for tabloid immortality. Whether their relationship ever moved beyond flirtation may never be known. Yet decades later, people remain fascinated by the possibility that one of Hollywood's most flamboyant stars may have shared secret moments with a man who would become one of America's most famous presidents. Number 3. Joan Crawford. Power recognizes power. That idea may explain why rumors involving Joan Crawford and John F. Kennedy have survived for so many years. Crawford was not merely a movie star, she was a force of nature. Few actresses worked harder to build and protect their image. By the time Kennedy became a national political figure, she had already spent decades at the top of Hollywood. Unlike younger actresses, who relied primarily on beauty, Crawford projected authority. She commanded attention the moment she entered a room. Studio executives respected her. Fans admired her. Rivals feared her determination. Those qualities allegedly attracted Kennedy's interest. The rumored relationship remains one of the more speculative entries on this countdown. Historians have never uncovered definitive evidence proving a romance occurred, yet Crawford's name repeatedly appears in discussions about Kennedy's social life and Hollywood connections. The rumor also reflects the hidden culture of mid-century America. Politicians and celebrities often crossed paths at private events, shielded from reporters. Relationships could flourish in secrecy because powerful people controlled access to information. Whether fact or fiction, the alleged connection remains fascinating because it pairs two individuals who understood influence better than most people ever could. Their names continue to be linked not because of evidence alone, but because the possibility feels strangely believable. Number 2. Blaze Starr. Not every woman connected to presidential rumors came from traditional Hollywood stardom. Blaze Starr followed a very different path. She became famous through nightlife, burlesque performances, and a public image built around boldness rather than studio-produced glamour. Yet, despite those differences, her name became associated with one of the most famous presidents in American history. Unlike many entries on this list, the stories surrounding Starr and John F. Kennedy have been discussed extensively by biographers and researchers. While details remain debated, the alleged relationship is often treated more seriously than many Hollywood rumors because multiple sources have referenced it over the years. Starr's appeal was undeniable. She possessed charisma that attracted wealthy businessmen, influential politicians, and powerful public figures. Her confidence allowed her to move comfortably through worlds that rarely intersected openly. Behind closed doors, however, those worlds often overlapped. For Kennedy historians, the alleged connection also reinforces a larger narrative regarding his attraction to charismatic women from many different backgrounds. Starr did not fit the traditional mold of a Hollywood actress, which makes her inclusion especially noteworthy. Decades later, the story remains compelling because it combines presidential power with a woman whose life already seemed larger than fiction. Whether every detail is accurate or not, Blaze Starr occupies a unique place in the long history of presidential romance rumors. Number 1. Marilyn Monroe. No actress on this countdown generated more fascination, speculation, and controversy than Marilyn Monroe. More than 60 years after her death, people still debate the secrets she may have carried to her grave. At the center of those debates stands one enduring question. Did Marilyn Monroe truly have a relationship with President John F. Kennedy? Unlike many rumors discussed in this video, the Monroe story became part of popular culture itself. Entire books have been written about it. Documentaries continue to revisit it. Historians still argue over the available evidence. The mystery refuses to disappear. Monroe and Kennedy unquestionably moved within the same elite circles. They met. They attended some of the same events. Their most famous public connection came in 1962 when Monroe delivered her unforgettable rendition of Happy Birthday to the president at Madison Square Garden. The performance instantly became one of the most iconic moments in American celebrity history. What happened away from the cameras remains the source of endless debate. Some biographers believe a romantic relationship almost certainly occurred. Others argue the evidence supports only a brief encounter rather than a long affair. Skeptics point out that many sensational claims emerged years later from sources whose reliability remains disputed. Yet the rumor survived because Monroe and Kennedy represented the ultimate collision of Hollywood and political power. She was the world's most famous actress. He was the most powerful man in America. Together, they created a story that seemed too extraordinary for the public to ignore. The fascination deepened after Monroe's tragic death. Questions multiplied. Conspiracy theories emerged. Every new book added another layer to the mystery. The absence of definitive answers only increased public curiosity. Whether their relationship was a brief romance, a deeper affair, or something less dramatic, Marilyn Monroe remains the woman most closely associated with presidential scandal in American history. More than any other actress, she transformed a rumor into a legend. Hollywood sold audiences fairy tales. Washington sold voters carefully crafted images. Behind both worlds, however, were private relationships, whispered rumors, and secrets that rarely reached the public eye. Some stories on this countdown are supported by stronger evidence than others. Some may never be fully proven, yet together they reveal how closely fame and power often traveled during Hollywood's golden age. Which story surprised you the most?